Good morning, everybody. How are you? So good to see you. Happy Sunday. Hope that you're doing well in your part of the world. It is another day for us to get together and be able to talk at the Data Roundtable for Data Scientists. Really happy that you're here. Really happy that we can support each other in our community and just kind of get together and talk about data. This is just a really fun opportunity for all of us as like minded individuals to get together and talk and see what's going on in the world. This is the start of my second week doing this format. It's a format where, honestly can be a little bit risky because it's a format where I walk in with zero agenda. I don't have anything planned to talk about. Every once in a while, maybe I'll have a little thought in my mind. But I basically come in here and say, "Hey, what do you guys want to talk about? What's on your mind? What do you guys got going on?" That's the point of today. We're gonna just see where the conversation takes us, and yeah, we've been pretty lucky that it's resulted in some pretty good conversations in this past week. Yesterday, I think we had a really interesting conversation talking about a project that somebody was working on involving air traffic control. Um, I think we came up with some good ideas to help that project along. And that's kind of the point, right? That's kind of the point that you expose your ideas, your thoughts to other people. They give you their feedback, and it might open up a new avenue or a new thought or something that you hadn't considered. So that's what we're here for. Let me know your thoughts, your projects, the articles you've read, the things that are on your mind, whatever you want to talk about. That is the whole purpose of a data roundtable format. So welcome, and just let me know how you're doing. Let me know that you're out there, and let me know what you'd like to talk about. It's a risk on my part to walk in here with no agenda, but it's been working pretty well so far. It's been working pretty well both here on YouTube and on Instagram. As soon as this YouTube stream finishes, I jump over to Instagram and start streaming there. My followers on Instagram has absolutely exploded over the past month or so. Um, so doing this to get more conversation going, get more dialogue going, get more community building going, right? So let me know how you're doing. Feel free to jump in, share whatever you'd like, and we'll go from there. I got a smoothie this morning. I usually do coffee, but I'm going to do a smoothie today. I made a really good smoothie today. Um, but yeah, prior to this, I got up early. I slept really good last night. Got up early, walked my dog, did some work. I did some recording this morning. I did some editing this morning. Usually I like to do my recording after the streams, but for some reason I'm just feeling really energetic today. So I decided to do my recording this morning. I'm going to do some editing. I'm going to finish that editing later today. And I'm just really excited to be able to be pushing out some new content to everybody. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Over in the chat, our first follower says, Osama says, "Hi, sir. Happy Sunday. Hope everything is going well." Happy Sunday to you too, Osama. Thanks for joining in. Everything is going very well. My day is off to a good start. My day is off to a busy start. Like I said, I did some recording. I have two pieces of content coming out soon, guys. I have a piece of content on freelancing, on Upwork or Fiverr or whatever. I guess the idiot influencers have caught on to that, to suggesting that for people doing that in analytics and data science, which is a terrible idea, guys. Terrible idea. Just so that I can get that out there, it is a terrible idea for you to go into freelancing just because you can't find a job. Very, very careful with that. So I did some content around that today. I'm going to do some content around resumes. So all of that to say, Osama, that my day is going great. I'm just feeling very, very energetic today for some reason. But yeah, everything's going well. Hope your Sunday is going well too, Osama. Let me know how you're doing. How are things in Morocco and your part of the world? Feel free to share whatever you'd like. But my day's off to a good start, and I think it's gonna just keep on going. The streams that I do are a small part of my day. Um, but I have to do things for clients. I have to do things for recordings. It never stops, guys. It never stops. Don't become an influencer because it never stops. There's always something to record, something to reply to, something to update, some analytics to read. There's always something, guys. But yeah, but it's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good weekend and all that. But anybody else who's in the chat wants to join in, say hello, please feel free to do so. Speaking of saying hello, it's our good friend Denelson. Denelson says, "Good morning, everyone. Warm greetings from LA. Hope you all are safe." Wow, warm greetings from LA. I like the way you put that. That's pretty cool. Thanks for being so welcoming there, Denelson. Everything is going good and safe over here. I live in a fairly safe neighborhood out in Las Vegas. But yeah, everything is good and safe. Hope the same for you and your family, Denelson. Denelson, let us know if that feedback from yesterday helped on your air traffic control problem. I would love to see you bring that to fruition to come up with like a transcribing AI engine for that audio, right? I would love to see that because that is data that is like nearly impossible to get public, right? But the fact that it goes out over the airwaves in an unstructured way, and you could use AI to put it into a structured way, I think that's awesome. I think that is a legitimately interesting project. So let me know if you decide to move forward with that, Denelson. If not, who knows? Maybe somebody else will pick it up, or you'll find a collaborator to work with you. But I think that could be interesting. But yeah, if you guys want to continue that conversation from yesterday, I thought that was really interesting about the different projects and things that people are working on. I just said about some content that I'm working on, and I still want to get to that Hugging Face trillion parameter model. I still want to find the time to fool around with that. On my coaching side, it's been pretty busy. I've signed a couple of new clients. So I also owe work back to the clients. I have a resume review to do for a client later today. But the one-on-one work I do is just really fulfilling. Really enjoy working with those people, with the clients that I have now. Another thing I was thinking, kind of carrying in my mind, and if you guys have feedback on this, I'd love to hear your feedback on this. But you guys that have followed me for a long time, you know that there's a couple things I don't like doing. There's a couple things that I really don't like to support because it kind of ultimately hurts data science, right? It hurts my profession. So why would I want to contribute to that, right? So you guys know that I don't help people pass interviews, right? It's not about passing interviews. It's about being a data professional. And you guys also know that I do not give project ideas. I simply do not do that. But I'm thinking of including a third topic. I think there might be a third topic out there that I need to exclude. Let me know what you guys think about this. But, it's a small sample size, but it has happened twice to me over the last 3 days, or last 2 days, maybe. Over the last couple of days, and I've had this happen before, but it just seems more recent. I've had people who will ask me questions in the chat, or, on a live stream, or in my direct messages, where they landed a job or they landed a client, they don't know what they're doing, and they're just asking me for like a quick tip that they can immediately turn around and go use and, seem smart to their clients or whatever, right? It happened to me yesterday in the chat. I feel like I kind of fell for the trap, right? Where somebody asked me about like initial questions I asked for a project or the first questions I asked for a project. And then later on in the chat, they revealed that they were inexperienced, but they had somehow managed to land a client, like some sort of real estate business or something as a client. And that is terrible. I feel so bad that I supported that. Like I do not want to support that. I don't know how it happens that these morons manage to land a client, but I'm thinking of excluding those people as people that I'm going to help. I'm going to be more careful about the questions that people are asking and the reasons behind them. Because if you're asking me something just so you can go sound smart to your boss or to your client, excuse me, I definitely do not want to support that. So let me know what you guys think about that if you want to give me some feedback on that. All right, so Denelson says, yes, I was looking into it more. However, I couldn't do much as I had to go into work and had an extended family house birthday dinner. I am planning to dedicate today to complete what we discussed. Okay, cool, Denelson. Let me know. Like I said, I think you could start with something that's pre-recorded, as like a testing. But eventually it'd be cool to see how it does on like actual live conversations back and forth. But if you could get like a 2 to 3 hour chunk of air traffic control recording, that's a pretty good base to start from. Yassine says, hello, sir. It's Yassine from Tangier, Morocco. Welcome, Yassine. How are you? Mr. Master's degree. You're only 2 days away, my friend. How are things over there? Yassine, in my mind's eye, you're able to come here and join in because you're all done. You got all your presentations, you're just coming in here to relax, because everything is done. Everything is easy now. So let me know how close I am in my mind's eye, Yassine. But you're a good guy. You got your presentation coming up here. So let us know how all those things are going. Let me know how close I was. I'm telling you guys, this is the best smoothie I've made ever since I've started this whole thing about getting my day started with a smoothie. I got some blueberries, raspberries, cherries, some egg whites, some spinach, some kale, and some honey in here, like natural honey. Man, that tastes really good. But yeah, let me know what you guys are doing for the rest of the day or anything else. We know that Denelson is going to be doing some experimentation on his project. I think it's going to go really well, Denelson. You're a smart guy. You just, you're at the very interesting time where you got to like meld two products together, right? But that's also where the good stuff happens. That's when the good stuff happens, when you're able to combine multiple items into one. That's when you're actually like, kind of like creating value, right? Because if you're just trying to pull from single data sets or things that are already widely available, there's no value add, right? Denelson says, congratulations, Yassine. Nice. Now, I don't know. Are we supposed to do that? Like how sometimes like when if you congratulate somebody too early, it's considered bad luck, right? Like, are we supposed to congratulate Yassine before his final presentation and masters and all that? I don't know. Let me know, Yassine. Is that bad luck? Or, well, another thing is like you said you have your presentation on the 15th, but like, do you get a result right away, or like, how does that work? Like, what's the timeline after? Like, do they tell you on the spot, or it's like a multi-day process? Like, how does that even work? So Yassine says, haha, I'm like 80% close. I'm still finalizing. I'm here to zoom out of things a bit, honestly. Okay, I get it. I get it. I can empathize with that, you know? Sometimes you have, because I do that. You have to like walk away from a problem, clear your mind, right? And then come back to it and then be like, oh, okay. Like you see things in a different way, right? You see things differently. So I get it. Yeah, I get it. You want to just kind of hang out, talk, get your mind off things, and then you go back and you'll get a new perspective. I get it. Yeah, I think that's very healthy. It's a very, because they say that your mind will still keep on working in the background, right? Like your, what do you call it? Like your subconscious mind is still working, right? So good for you, Yassine. It's good that you're self-aware enough to step back and give yourself the time. So good for you. Yassine says yes, results instantly. Okay. In a way that kind of increases the pressure a little bit, right? Because that means you'll know right away or not whether you're good to go or you're a moron, right? Well, I shouldn't say that. Even if somebody doesn't do well in that, getting through a program like that is not easy, right? So either way, you've won, Yassine. So good for you. Good for you. Denelson says, "Oh no, I'm sorry." Knocking on wood. Yeah, I don't know, like if it's a good thing or a bad thing to wish somebody like that because it's not over yet, right? So it can be dangerous to wish that and then it's like, oh, I didn't pass, and then how do you feel about that, right? Then you're gonna feel terrible, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. So no, but Yassine's a smart guy. I'm sure everything is gonna go well. But Yassine, if you don't mind me asking, what's your plan? Like immediately after that, I know you told me that you were considering a PhD, so you have some long-term thoughts, but like immediately though, are you gonna stay in Tangier? Are you gonna go somewhere else, or like you're gonna take a vacation? Like, what does one do immediately after that? I'm curious about that. So feel free to share that if you'd like. So yeah, if you guys have any feedback on that, let me know. But I think I'm gonna start cutting out people in the chats, in the DMs who ask me about basically how to sound smart on the job. I feel so bad that I gave that person advice yesterday. I would have never answered that question. But let me know what you guys think about that as far as um people who are just looking for those quick tips to sound smart or impress someone or whatever it was that they think they're getting out of that, right? Let me know. I know that on Sundays I usually do my tutorials, but we're going to put the series on pause for now. I really want to keep on working with this format here for the rest of the summer at least, and then see what I want to do after that in terms of a series and all that. But yeah, Sundays is usually the busiest day for streaming really all around the world. But, we'll see how this format works out. I still have faith in it. It's a format that I've used in the past when I was at a large company and trying to bring the data scientists together. So we'll have to give it some time to let it catch on a little bit here. But last call for thoughts if anybody else wants to share anything or put out any topics to the group. Anybody? Yassine says, honestly, the only factor that impacts my pressure is how well I understand the subject. Doesn't matter who I'm facing, what's on stake, when, how many are there. I'm really thankful for that. All right, cool. Yeah, see, that sounds like a very healthy, very positive attitude. Good for you, man. Yeah, how well I understand the subject. Yeah, we should all measure ourselves by that, right? Because at the end of the day, if you don't understand it, who cares? So yeah, I like that. Good for you. Look at you being all philosophical and stuff. I like the way you put that. I can very much appreciate that. That's a healthy way to go about this. So good for you. Good for you. All right, guys. So I think I'm gonna transition out here. Feel free to follow me over on Instagram if you'd like. I'm gonna start that up there in a few minutes. But thank you all so much for joining. We're gonna continue this format the rest of the summer. I'm determined to stream every day. So keep on coming back. I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, please take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and I'll see you then.